right, so yeah, I probably should have went on the other ones. But so when you call again this idea where everyday people can violate a law enforcement perimeter of detention and arrest is bullshit. There is no freedom to do that. So your law enforcement's allowed to say, I need a 10-foot perimeter. They're allowed to do that. These people that violate that perimeter violate a lawful order and can be arrested. They're allowed to have a 10-foot perimeter. They can announce, do not get closer than 10 foot to us while we're doing this and our vehicles. Why? Because that's reasonable. There is no freedom to get within that 10 feet. Now, judges have found possibly they have a right to be somewhere. That's because you didn't articulate it right. A reasonable security perimeter. And then make sure it's reasonable. Tell your people what the distance is that you're going to use. They don't have to have a law like Florida. There's no need for that. I'm detaining somebody. This is a volatile law enforcement situation. You see, if I don't maintain control of this guy or gal, they're going to run to the highway. Then you're going to blame me when they get hit by a vehicle. So you see, you have to begin to articulate the entire thing, and maybe you're waiting for the Supreme Court and they're waiting for the argument. Hopefully you make the right argument. So you have a right as a law enforcement officer to a reasonable perimeter no matter what some judge said. Because there is case law for a security perimeter, but it has to be legitimate. Again, obviously, you're detaining, you're arresting, you need at least 10 feet from you, away from you, and away from your vehicles, and they're not honoring that. They are not a protester in that situation. They are violating law, and they are a threat to the community. You see how they're trying to flip that around? Right. They are a threat to the community because that person's safety and the safety of everyone else, just in case that person freaks out and takes a hostage or runs into the house somewhere they don't belong to hide, you're causing a disruption, and you'll be fine. Yeah, he gets away. She gets away. See, that's irresponsibility. That's rebellion. That's insurrection. Every law enforcement officer can reasonably articulate a need for 10 feet of perimeter. Maybe even 20. Well, because if you have 40 people going with whistles, I need 20 feet. If I have 3 people going, let him go. I want to use my SNAP money to buy mollies from him. If it's that, then that's because, again, what they're doing is taking that scenario that you deal with all the time. And again, sometimes you arrest them, sometimes you disorderly them, sometimes, right. Well, they go to bed without milk and cookies. and everyone in the police department makes sure they don't go to bed with. Again, I'm not against the reality of the system. But don't play this game where I'm the crook and you did my life because I'm the crook while you're trying to turn me into every crook you possibly could while working for crooks. Right. Thanks, Larry. So you can articulate a 10-foot perimeter, and they don't honor 10-foot perimeters. Right. And right down there, the Supreme Court would say, yeah, that makes sense to us. And again, don't play your clarinet in the middle of the Battle of the Bulge. Right. Because that's a bridge too far. Right. And again, I don't know who she is. They do. They're not going to tell you or tell the judge what they know about each person because that's how they're collecting information through whatever system they're using. I can't tell you how it is, what they're using. Right. Could be a traffic camera. It could have a microphone. You're all standing, in this one corner all of a sudden. And they know everything you said. But you're still that innocent person in your mind. Why? because you don't really know what you said. I guarantee a ton of them have been online conspiring to cause harm to ICE officers and or ICE operations. That there could cause them to be taken down if they're too close to the perimeter on one of their jails. These are jails. Detention facilities are jails. We're not talking about, anything else where it's just a normal location. I'm sorry. I'm going to find these one part. I don't know where the one part to this thing is. So again, use terms like a reasonable security perimeter. I mean, they can't walk up to you and stand between you and your squad car and say, "I'm just protesting," and you can't get in your squad car. I mean, that's next. Right. And I'm sure there's situations where that's happened, where ICE couldn't get to their vehicles because of the protesters. And I guess we saw that in San Francisco also. But where, maybe they just need to respond to something and they're in the way. Right. Oh, no, I wouldn't put up with any of it. Back in the day, I mean, we wouldn't beat you up, but, you just be, you'd be cuffed and stuff. Right. I agree. So again, you have to readjust the case law so it works, but you have to articulate that readjustment. Because there's case law to say they can stand there and film you and all this and da-da-da. On a detention and arrest scenario, you can ask for at least 10 foot of perimeter. If you have to fight somebody away from you while you're detaining somebody away from your vehicles, then they're rebelling and they're insurrecting. And you cannot enforce the laws of the United States. Your job as an ICE officer, as a Border Patrol person, is not to fight. Your job is to detain. Anytime you have to fight, then something's wrong. And if it's in a mass effort like we see now, it's a criminal conspiracy, but it's also insurrection and rebellion. No, you don't. You're not supposed to have to fight when you walk up, you detain a person, and you take off, and that's it. That's what's supposed to happen. That's what normal is. That's what lawful is. They don't get to protest every detention. Actually, they don't get to protest any of them inside of a security perimeter. And then there's questions about who they are once they begin protesting detentions. It's federal law. It's what's wrong with this nation. It's one of the major things that's wrong with this nation. When we fix that, then we can get to the next thing. Right. Now, if you like meth from Mexico, if you like cocaine from Colombia and Venezuela, and you like pills and stuff with fentanyl and all that, well, too bad. No, there's nobody supposed to be standing there within the security perimeter. Well, that's it. I got to go do some things.